Who would have thought that when you elect a convicted felon who has ruined every business he's ever started, bankrupted casinos, anybody that's ever worked for him in the past has also ended up bankrupt. I'm talking about Mike Lindell, MyPillow, Rudy Giuliani, begging judges, for pennies. Well, guess what's happened now? Elon Musk has completely tanked his brand. It is a self-inflicted faceplant. Put up this from the Lincoln Project. A devastating Tesla earnings report today. Net income fell 71%. Total revenue slid 9% from $21.3 billion a year earlier. Tesla stock down 41% so far in 2025, suffered their worst quarterly drop since 2022. And what we're finding out is all of MAGA's like, go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke. Well, Target tried to do that. They were woke. Their base was a group of urban people, urban voters and suburban voters. They dismantle DEI, throw their pride support down the river. Guess where they are? Economically in the shitter. Elon Musk, Sig Heil's running around with a fascist, Tesla in the shitter.
Well, everything Trump touches is destroyed. But Elon Musk, being a Nazi and doing Sig Heil's and screwing with people's lives haphazardly, stealing private data, it turns out people don't like that. They don't like it in the United States, and they do not like it abroad. And so he's crying around, poor Elon, the left's being so mean to me. The reason people are boycotting your brand is because of your behavior and your behavior alone and loyalty to Donald Trump to the tune of $300 million. So look in the mirror if you want to blame somebody.
And think about this. When you think about like voting blocks, when you look at an electoral map, you see that urban areas, deeply blue, that's where the economic hubs are, right? And so it makes sense that if you start turning against that base where most of the dollars are spent, in these big blue cities, even our city, which is purple, 45%, that it's really off-putting to a lot of consumers when you don't stand up for democracy. And this is just such short-sighted economic reactionary policy. We are big dicks and we're going to get them out and swing them, and they never play the tape through that the government's job is to provide economic security. But MAGA has floated this myth that we're going to run government like a business. And if you elect Donald Trump, every business he's had, he's run into the ground.
It's failed.
Right? Okay, so here we have Trump, who is the weakest American president we've ever had. It's not even open for debate. He picks a fight with China. China's like, F you, your eyeliner wearing vice president called us peasants. We're going to troll the F out of him. And we have been a civilization for 5,000 years. You're only 12% of our economy. We're not going to blink. We're not going to do jack shit. So now Trump is blinking with China and trying to make his way back over. Play the clip.
145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to that. We were talking about fentanyl, where various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen. But they're going to do very well, and I think they're going to be happy, and I think we're going to live together very happily. And
okay, that's enough. And you guys know we put the chipmunk voice on him so that it's tolerable. But again, China, Europe, all of these other nations see the United States as unstable and insecure economically because we have a malignant narcissist surrounded by bottom feeder grandstanders at the White House. Nobody wants to do business with us. Nobody.
And can you blame them? It's tariffs now, tariffs not now. Here's the thing. Donald Trump is a bully. And he thought he could go in and bully these countries. And these countries are like, fuck you. We'll go to Europe. We'll go to South Korea. We'll make our own free trade deals. We don't need you. And so in true Trump fashion, and I don't want to remind everyone, in the Trump University lawsuit, they were going to settle for $4 million. Donald Trump said, no, I'm going to negotiate it myself. He settled for $25 million. The art of the deal is he is a dipshit, and he always caves because he's a bully, and that is exactly what's happening. So she take a victory lap.
And there is some really foundational things that he has broken. There is a global movement right now to boycott American products. I read an article where people were talking about how do we get off of American technology, and these are Europeans, and what is available to us via China. And that's how toxic this man has made this American brand, which brings me to Republicans who are all about fiscal conservatism and we're all about the economy. And then all of these oligarchs are all engaged in this short-sighted plan to placate to the ego of an almost 79-year-old man that wakes up every morning and puts on orange makeup while his administration says they're against artificial colors.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is just insanity. Okay, next up we have Trump. Now, you may remember he is obsessed with Jerome Powell. He always has to blame somebody else for his screw-ups. And he talks about firing Jerome Powell twice. Dow drops like 1,000 points or something each time. Now he's backpedaling on this because the man has no spine. Play the clip.
I don't want to talk about that because I have no intention of firing him.
Mr. President.
Fundamentally, remember, Trump does not have the authority to fire him. It would be against the law. Not that we think Trump gives a shit about the law, but it's interesting to me that Mr. I'm such a great businessman has done nothing but tank the U.S. economy. And the only person that's even respected right now on the government side, because Bessant's a dipshit, Lutnick's a dipshit, is Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell is standing firm and being very pointed about what the future is. Well, Trump doesn't think about the future because he doesn't either care, know, or he is doing it on purpose.
And Jerome Powell is playing the long game, which is what you want government to do. But you brought up Scott Bessant. And Scott Bessant is just a special case of like a demon queen. You know, he is an out-of-the-closet gay man who has ascended to this position, who has no issue with Trump putting on Truth Social the pink triangle, which was what the Nazis used to identify homosexuals when they sent them to get exterminated in concentration camps. He doesn't say a peep about that, right? And so you have him. This is what they had to do. So you've got that Navarro who's all about the anti-China tariffs and all this shit, right? They had to wait till Navarro was in a meeting. And Bessant has to go in and get Trump's ear when Navarro's not around to get him to put the pause on the tariffs, the 90-day pause, because everybody in the administration doesn't have a singular unifying economic plan. And the more I watch of Scott Bessant, the more I think, if somebody earns $1 billion at some point, does the American public just say, oh my God, they're smart, put them in charge of shit? This video that I'm about to show you is from his Twitter account. The Secretary of the Treasury tweeted this video of himself, and you just tell me what you think about it. Play it.
America has been very good to me and my family, and I want to spread the word that through financial literacy, you can accumulate both financial security, peace of mind, and move toward your financial goals.
Scott, how are you going to do that? What's your plan to do that? I mean, this guy, that's like first grade economics.
I mean, it's just like, I'm like, that's like his message to the American people right now. It's just, number one, I don't think he's that great of a speaker. And, you know, and we're living in this short-clipped political news cycle where you need to have experts that that advocate for everybody, not just for the few. And MAGA constantly is acting like they're advocating for everybody by playing in throwing red meat to get the base riled up. But really, it's just for the few of them. I mean, Trump in the Oval was like, this guy made $2 billion today, and this guy made $500 million today, which immediately somebody should have been arrested for all of that.
Corruption.
But of course, that didn't happen. But this, you guys, this sums up Trump-onomics. This sums it up perfectly. Put up the first slide. The IMF predicts the economy hardest hit by Trump's tariffs will be, drum roll please, the United States of America. This is a unforced error. This is Donald Trump and a bunch of dipshits that have dismantled expertise that are using tackling and attacking the American economy, which people were feeling pretty secure about, to dismantle it so that this guy, who's almost 79 years old and freebases Diet Coke, had a button in the office so he can have them brought to him all the time, and eats McDonald's all the time and won't release his real medical records, and lies about his weight. The amount of people in this country that are this short-sighted is such a fundamental moral flaw in a percentage of the electorate. All right, that's all we have for today. Some uplifting stuff in the United States of America. Please subscribe, and we'll see you all later.